So pronouns are another question prompt we're going to run into on the grammar side. That is, once I see the question's conventions of standard English and I do a vertical scan, I see their pronouns. Now, this is technically part of the form, structure, and sense, but really, as we know, in their categories of grammar or standard English convention, there are multiple skills, multiple question prompts, and we're going to teach you how to recognize those and identify each and every one and how to solve them quickly, how to exploit the exam, basically. So again, I know I'm in grammar. I quickly see pronouns. I've got pronouns like they, which is plural. Now, a lot of people think they is only applicable to people. If it's inanimate, I can't use they. That's not true. The books, they are on the shelves. That applies too. So it's a little different than it, where it is an inanimate object, whereas if it were a person, you would say he or she. One is an indefinite singular person or object. I don't know who you are, so one might do this generally, and you, of course, is second person. So let's take a look at that. I've identified this as a pronoun use issue, and pronouns always agree with their antecedents in number and gender. So we always have to check whether my pronoun, they, one, you, it in this case, agrees with the antecedent noun. Remember, pronouns, with the possible exception of indefinite pronouns, always refer back to a regular antecedent noun. For example, it would get a bit redundant if we said John finished up at work, John came home for dinner, John went to bed. We don't want to say John, John, John. We'd rather say John finished up at work and he came home for dinner and he went to bed, right? So we use he as the pronoun that refers back to the antecedent John. And it must agree in gender, so he corresponds to John, and in number, it's singular, not plural. So with that said, let's figure out what our antecedent noun is in this case. This is the challenge. So if I read the sentence, when these campaigns were given consumers a choice, for example, Japan achieved a 40% reduction in plastic bag use after cashiers were instructed to ask customers whether they wanted a bag. So who wanted the bag? The customers, plural. They wanted the bag. That's what our pronoun refers to. That's the antecedent. It's plural, so it's not going to be one, it. You could be singular or plural, but it's not going to be you because it's not second person. The customers are third person, they, when they wanted a bag. Again, grammar question, quick vertical scan. I see all the pronouns. It, they, this, some. It is singular. This is a demonstrative pronoun. This or that, they point to a certain thing. Some is an indefinite pronoun. Every, many, each, all, some. Indefinite pronouns, remember, some are always singular, like each and every. Some are always plural, like some and many. And some actually could be both ways, like all, for example. All is well would be singular, almost kind of analogous to a collective or a group noun. It's treated as one thing. Or I could say, all the people were coming over for dinner. All there refers to and is plural. So let's take a look at this one. Again, I'm going to have to find the antecedent noun for it, they, this, or some. What is it? So reading before the underlined section, Japanese-American artist Shiora Obata depicted the natural beauty of Yosemite National Park in two memorable woodcuts. So we're probably dealing with plural here. Evening at Carl Inn and Lake Basin in the High Sierra. In 2019, it was exhibited. No, it can't be it because there are two woodcuts. That is the antecedent noun that we're referring to. That's what's getting exhibited. So our antecedent noun is two woodcuts. Won't be the singular options. It was or this was. Is it going to be they were or some were? In 2019, some were exhibited alongside 150 of Obata's other works. No, it's not just some. That's too vague. It's they. It's specifically those two. They were exhibited alongside 150 of Obata's other works. So it's plural and it agrees with the antecedent. And that's how we solve pronoun use problems. Identify its grammar question, identify pronouns on the vertical scan, and then look for the antecedent noun to get the correct agreement in gender and number. Now, there's another situation we've seen on the SAT before, and it comes down to a more definite word, like, say, instead of pronouns, something like lions, not a pronoun, exactly a specific thing that could be the antecedent mentioned in the text. If you ever get this more definite non-pronoun option, you almost always want to choose it. In practice, that's been the case. It doesn't have to be the case, so I would check it. But in practice, it's almost always been the case. The situations have been something like a vague pronoun, where if I had a sentence that had they in it, maybe the people chased the lions and they ran. So there, that's a vague pronoun. Who does they refer to? The people who are plural? Did the people run? Or did they, the lions, run away from the people? So in that case, if there's any uncertainty, usually the definite answer is correct. But I would check to make sure it's for that reason, a vague pronoun or another reason that would cause that.